JD Pearson, I like this question. Where do you see your card business, that means the app, podcast, YouTube business, in the next 3 years? Any more big upcoming moves? Jesse, how has the move from Dell to SCN gone for you? Go ahead.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, podcast, I think, is still going to be alive and well. I hope we're still on the Ringer Podcast Network. We like working with Simmons. If not, I plan on doing the podcast anyways, no matter what. I've told you that before.
Yep.
I'll do it for free. Like, if there's nothing there, I just enjoy doing it. YouTube, I don't care about YouTube. I know we're on YouTube now. I don't enjoy video stuff at all, so I don't want to ever be committed to this more than they have to be. So if it's totally gone in a year, never mind 5 years, I would be totally fine with that. Mm-hmm. The app, in 5 years, I hope the app is either acquired by one of these big things and they adopt like our business model and really let us run something, or I hope it's just a new contender in the space. Whether it stands alone or it just like reinvents another one of these apps out there, I'd be fine with either.
Yeah, I think at this point I would be totally cool. I love doing the podcast. That's probably one of the most fun things that we do, especially when we are having more and more guests on. That's been really good.
Yep.
I think the issue, and I think I could foresee over the next 3 years us getting to the point where we have Simmons-esque guests coming on, and I think that would be really awesome. Like bigger names in the hobby.
That's
especially
been my biggest letdown with the podcast, quite frankly. We've been at the Ringer a year and a half, and like, to get big names, like Simmons is by far our biggest name.
I would 100% agree.
I do. That does irritate. That's my one source of irritation.
I think that as the hobby grows, though, I mean, the more we do the podcast, the more the hobby grows, the more we can hopefully get bigger names in. As far as YouTube goes, it is funny. Guys, I'm going to look at the camera for a second. I'm going to look right over here. It is when Mike and I talk about doing YouTube, this is not his, he doesn't love this area, but this is funny because this is exactly what I like to do. So I don't foresee us doing a ton of video content in the future, but I think if we can maintain something like this where we talk back and forth in a podcast-esque style,
if you
feel okay?
Doing what I'm doing, I don't care.
You feel good with that?
If you expect me to acknowledge you, you have another thing coming. Actually,
same sentiments on the app.
Yep. Dell?
Oh, since Dell,
you're making more and you're working less. Come on, you're probably not working less.
I'm not working less at this point. Well, it's all in how you view it. I love the fact that I have the flexibility. That has been the biggest game changer
for your flexibility.
Bro, I'm doing keto and I've lost a couple pounds.
Killing it.
Can you tell? All right, next question. Thank you, JD.
By the way, any more big moves? I'll be honest with you, no. The app is my last big move. I hope in any business period. And I know people think I joke. I'm absolutely being serious.
Just continue to grow what you got, you know?
I don't want to do that.
John Boren, what famous duo are you most like? Horace and Jasper?
I don't know Horace and Jasper.
Yeah, you do. 101 Dalmatians. They are the best.
Not at all. What? Harry and Lloyd, that is Dumb and Dumber.
You got it.
Batman and Robin. I think that is pretty apropos.
I'm Batman.
Apropos.
I've got a picture. I
don't think Robin's an insult.
No, Robin in like when he had the cool suit on in Batman Forever, like I'm okay with that Robin, but the Robin from the comic books.
I don't know. The Robin up there getting chloroformed.
Chloroform Robin.
I think Batman and Robin is fine. Or I am the Superman to your Aquaman.
You know what I view us as?
I'm Superman, you're Wonder Woman.
I view us as a real Steve Martin, John Candy, planes, trains, and automobiles situation.
I'm those two, and you're the other guy.
the
third
train.
build actor. Fair.
All right. Let's see. Thank you, John. Let's go to Mr. Ken Griffin. If you and Jesse were to be transformed into Office characters, which would you be? Another Office question.
I call Jim.
I feel like we
called it.
You know you wouldn't be. Your aggression is not a Jim. He's very laid back.
I'm laid back, bro.
You are a Dwight if there's ever been one.
Just laid back.
All right, next question. Kyle Semmel, I'd be curious about your thoughts for the podcast on separating flipping from collecting, specifically moving cards from PC to for sale because of the profit on the item. This is going to be you.
This is interesting. I mean, yeah, I think obviously there's a place for both to collect and to flip. I've done it before. Like when some of my Brady's have 20 to 30x, like they did years ago. Mm-hmm. I sold a bunch of stuff that I really thought I'm never selling. And even tomorrow, if something crazy happened in a year from now with the market 10, 20x'd, I'd probably move the majority of my stuff. I'm sentimental, but I'm also like, this is an avenue to take care of my family. Like, so I would keep some stuff despite value changes. But yeah, I think you just have to decide, like, what's the most important thing going for you? Cards have never been near the top of the list for me. very important from a work standpoint, but that's it. And I enjoy the hobby.
And fun, yeah.
Yeah, I like the hobby, but like realistic, I've got family to take care of. Like,
yeah, at the end of the day, a card's not going to stop you from feeding the family.
Yep.
All right. Lewis Police. What is the most annoying type of post in the group that makes each of you cringe the most?
What is my card worth? I've stopped even allowing those posts in the Facebook group. I don't mind if it's like a 101, a crazy rare card, a card that doesn't sell, but there's just so many new guys who come in. What's this worth? Do your research and find out. It's almost always very easy to find.
You know what's funny is while I do find those a little annoying, I don't find them as annoying or as cringeworthy as the people who make posts specifically about how much they hate those posts.
Oh, that's even worse. You're right. And tax posts. Anytime somebody's like, I talked to my buddy, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you did. I have a team of like buddies who happen to be CPAs.
Yeah.
I go with their tax advice. Anytime you see tax advice on social media, it's almost always nonsense.
I agree. Like some of those questions are annoying, but let's just move past them instead of bringing more attention to them.
This post, I find it. No, I'm just kidding. Luis is doing great.
Get out of here, Luis. All right, Matt Zora. What's the best and worst hobby interaction you've ever had, and what made those interactions memorable?
Both involve kids, young collectors. Best interaction of all time was at the Mint this past year. Okay. I forget their names, but the two kids who came up, they've got a big YouTube page and Instagram. Two dudes were like so excited. Elevate Sports Cards, I think is what it's called.
Oh, wow.
They were like crazy excited just to meet us, which was awesome. Yep. Then we just gave them some free packs and like ripped. Literally screaming when they hit like their players, even if it was like a base prism card of Zion. They just love seeing that kind of like unbridled enthusiasm. That's totally was like, this is awesome. Like had a lot of fun. The other one though also involved a kid. You were there for it. Remember at the National a couple years ago? Mm-hmm. This kid came up with his dad. Kid had a bunch of stuff with him. Nice collection. I say kid probably 12, 13. I don't know. Young enough. And like he was trying to buy a card for me. I was like, you know what? They're $180. It's about comp price.
Yep.
But you know what, dude? Young collector, like seeing how about $160? Like I was like, I'll take $20 off. And it was a card I'd already sold a bunch of. So I was like, 160 is a deal. They're moving at 180. I don't even remember what the card was.
Yeah.
I can do 150. And I was like, yeah, I'm already giving you a deal at 160. Like, and I see your collection.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't have $10. His dad was with him. And I was like, he's like, well, 150. You could have another sale. And I was like, I'm good. Yeah. Like, I understand how this game works. Like, I just knocked $20 off.
Yep, I remember that.
Should have just said, thanks for knocking the... And then the dad, as he was leaving, was like, way to go, ruining a kid's day. And I was like...
You ruined the kid's day.
Yeah, I was just like, how about this? Two things. Teach your kid, like, you don't always get what you want just because you're a kid.
Yep,
like, the kid has a collection worth more than my family had at that time when I was that age. Like, I don't feel bad. And two, if it's that important, then kick in another $10, Dad. Yep. I just don't like when people think they have like something owed to them in the hobby.
It is funny you say that because I was just watching TikTok last night, and
is that something you wish you would say?
It's because someone I know sent me a link to a TikTok that I went and viewed. But to give credit to Jeff Wilson, and he has a family who they go around to card shows all the time. He was at a card show with his son. The guy, the son was trying to buy cards. The guy was trying to push back. He said, no, I'm firm on this price. Dad didn't step in and be like, trying to make the negotiation. I like that kids can make a deal themselves. I think it makes them more talented as they get older in this hobby.
By the way, it is Elevate Sports Cards. The other one was the AA Breakers. Those two young dudes we met at Bleecker Trade Night.
Oh, okay.
I actually had fun working with those kids. They were pretty funny. So.
Personally, as far as a negative interaction, though, I haven't been in the hobby as long as Mike, and very fortunately, most guys are very kind. The most negative thing, though, is going to a card show, and it's typically, unfortunately, like the guys who've been there in the hobby the longest, and they just think they're better, they know more, and they're not willing to talk to you or bother with like trying to answer your questions. It's beyond infuriating. There you go. Michael Arias.
We are cousins-in-law, sir.
Yeah, I know your brother-in-laws, I think.
Yeah, we've been close for what, 10 years?
Yeah, no, longer than that, like since Murfreesboro. And
12, 13 years?
We moved up here in 2010. That's 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah, we are cousins-in-law, though, just to clarify that. No blood relation. Correct. Could you imagine if we had the same blood running through the veins?
I wouldn't allow that.
Would you have already excised me from the genetic pool?
Fair.
Nick ML, what card do you regret not buying at the time? Something under comps where the timing wasn't right, outbid at the last second when you thought it was a sure thing, etc.?
So I had a chance to buy a Brady when the contender stuff really started to spike in 8, 5, 10 for like 20 grand. Now, granted, I had been buying and selling those things for 700 to 1,200 years ago.
Yeah.
But in the past probably 2 years, right before the crazy spike happened. And I was like, man, I think that's probably about going rate, but I don't know. Things will cool off. That card's probably 35 to 40 now.
Ooh.
I don't care about the value of it as much as just like that's a Brady card I always have wanted to. That's one I wish I had never sold in the first place.
Gotcha.
So I know, I just remember, like, I think I offered like 19 or something. I remember making a counter offer and the dude being like, yeah, I'm just going to stick. And I think he even acknowledged, like, I know I'm kind of on the high side, but like with this one. And he was totally right. So the lesson for me was just, if you find something PC, just buy it. Don't nickel and dime.
It's funny you say that. There was like a celebrity card. It wasn't a Pop Century, but there was a celebrity card in at Wisconsin Dells, the first card show I'd ever been to with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And not only that, there was also a number of the PMG Marvel cards.
Oh.
And I was looking through and I was like, oh, you know, these are probably gonna be like $30-$40. And they were like $100 and $200. And I was like, $100-$200. I'm not paying that kind of money for a PMG, for a Marvel card and celebrity, because this is like right before that segment really blew up. And then call it even a few months later, it just skyrocketed. And I was like, well, that would have been nice. So you never know. Richie Liverett, what would you be doing if SCN didn't exist?
It'd still be a Dell, right?
I would be a Dell, contemplating constantly what the next step would be. I do that even to this day. Like, not like, what am I going to do when this ends? It's more like, what can I do that's me? I want to have my thing that has nothing to do with entertainment, that has nothing to do with any other person. It would just be my thing. And I constantly think about it. I don't know if I'll ever find it. I've been looking for it for years.
So SCN, yeah, for me, I mean, it's weird because like I was already set after the breaking thing, so I guess like property still, and I would still be doing a podcast somewhere anyway, or just like a Facebook Live,
volunteer help work, something like that. You've always been into that. You'd probably do more or less of that, the same.
Yeah, I mean, we do some, but yeah, I mean, like for actual work though, I would still do some sort of media, regardless of whether it got picked up by the Ringer or not, and then I'd still be into the properties, like a safe, easy bet for me. Just a good avenue.
Thank you, sir. Tim Gilman. This is from my 2 10-year-olds, Cash and Lennon. Are we sure Tom Brady isn't overrated now?
Why don't you care more about your 2 kids? How could the greatest player of all time be overrated? This is a ridiculous question, Gilman. I think I've given him a gift for those kids. I believe they're Bills fans. If you think of the right guy, I want that back. Don't let your kids push you around anymore, Tim. Next.
Tony Frias, if you could pick another career, what would it be? I think that's kind of in line with the last one, but any other career, honestly, I've always dreamed of being a woodworker. Like just someone who,
what?
Yeah, like I would love to get like the hand carved tools and like all of the machinery down in my basement. Cause you know, we've got a giant basement. I've literally planned this out in some parts of my mind of like just getting things down there and start building shelves or like just anything. I've always found that really cool.
Here's a weird one. There's a little feel. It's like people who help others go through like their budget and really like tear into. I know it's a big thing on the corporate level, but even on one-on-one level, it's like forensic financial help.
Oh, really?
I think it's pretty cool. I did it like to help some friends one time. I thought it was kind of a neat thing. Like, hey, you're spending X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
What's this reoccurring payment? What's this income?
You can go on TikTok. I think I've seen about 20 different people advertise that skill.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you actually would know what you're doing. I don't know if I trust those other people.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was a cool area.
Tyler Rodriguez, what card or sports item did you sell that you regret to this day?
Tom Brady 2000 Contenders Championship ticket. It was graded a 7 or a 7.5 and a 9 on the auto. Sold it for like $7,500. It's probably worth $750,000 today, maybe $1 million. Just because of the amount of financial loss. In terms of like something that I sold that I wish I didn't like from a sentimental standpoint, I sold all my memorabilia like years ago because I wasn't really into sports for a while, and the cards and collectibles probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And included was my autographed A-Rod bat that my dad bought for me at Fenway. I kind of wish I kept that. It was like a cool piece. It's not even worth it. It's probably like, I don't know, $300-400, but it was a cool piece. I wish I had kept that.
Mine's similar in the sense of it's not worth anything, but the Phil Mickelson that I got, that was like the first card I bought since coming back into the hobby.
9, not the gift, not the 10.
No. The one that I bought personally. I just wish I kept it. But you know what? I got a gift and it was even better. All right. Well, Mike, thank you for letting the audience ask us questions.
We'll do it like once a month. We're going to do this. We have a couple other little video segments coming up. There you go. Goodbye.
All right, guys. Have a good day.